Hello, guys. Welcome back to some more reviews. The Explorer of Horror here. And today, we're talking about a film that I thought was pretty well done, and that is Tourist Trap. Now, Tourist Trap, this is a 70s movie. This is a 1979 film, gets a 6.1 surprisingly on IMDb, and directed by David Schmoller. And I recognized this. I was looking over his film list, and there's quite a bit of movies on his directing list that I've either heard of or I've seen. He directed the first Puppet Master, which I thought was pretty decent. He also directed Crawl Space, Catacombs, Netherworld, The Arrival. I've heard of all those. And yeah, Tourist Trap. This is a movie, basically the story. You've got these teens. I think their car breaks down or something. They're in the middle of nowhere, basically, and they find this museum where there are these sort of toys and, animatronics and things. And while they're there, they meet this guy who's welcoming them, Chuck Connors. He's sort of this older gentleman. He's just talking about the history of the place and why it's there, and they begin to have weird encounters. And they start realizing the mannequins are moving and weird things are happening, but they also realize there's a killer there, and he has some very unique powers. And they basically got to try and survive the night. And there's twists and turns. Tourist Trap, I went into this movie totally blind. I knew nothing about this movie. I knew I loved the poster, which I think is pretty cool. I knew that my friend Steve, aka R&R Horror Hunter, he was a pretty big fan of this movie, and he recommended this movie to me. I know John Steele was a pretty big fan of it. He recommended it to me, and I had heard just over the years people recommending this film and saying it's not heard of, it's not out there, but it's very, very well made. And this is a PG movie as well. So I was going into it, I was like, I don't know, a PG slasher, what's going on here? What's this about? What is this about? And it's a very unique film. First of all, I want to say it opens with one of the creepiest openings I've seen in a horror film in a while, where this guy gets trapped in this room, and it's in the middle of the day. And this mannequin comes out of nowhere and starts laughing really creepily. I don't know if they have that on the back. Yeah, they do. Actually, they do have the mannequin right on the back. This one right here. Bald one. Starts laughing. He thinks, oh, it just fell, whatever. It's animatronic, whatever. And all of these things, these mannequins and things start coming out of the closet and going around the room and laughing. It becomes chaos. And a metal pipe goes right through him. And you see a little bit of blood. Obviously, it can't be too violent. I don't know if this is the uncut version or not. But can't be like super violent. It's PG. But it is pretty brutal nevertheless. And that's how the movie opens. And I was like, what the fuck? Where is this movie going? And you find out this guy is the brother to the Chuck Connors character. And he has this mannequin mask. He's really crazy out of his mind talking to himself. And he also has telekinesis, which was interesting. 1979. This is before Friday the 13th. This is before a lot of movies. And I can't tell you a movie besides the obvious stuff like Carrie or Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, where telekinesis is brung into a slasher setting. And Carrie really isn't a slasher movie. It's just a regular horror film. So this was extremely unique. The usage of the mannequins, the usage of the look of the killer, of the mannequin mask, creepy looking. The atmosphere, I will say this director, David Schmoller, did a great job with the atmosphere. It's dark, it's foggy, it's misty, it's creepy looking. And I think the acting's okay. I don't know if I really love this cast. They're all kind of but definitely not one of the strong suits of the movie. But I think pretty much a lot of other things work in this film. But to get into positives and negatives, positives, the effects that are there are pretty decent, pretty well done. Creepy factor is there. Eeriness is there. It's a slasher film that doesn't rely on the slashing. And it relies on atmosphere and creepiness and mystery and just the bare minimum that horror needs. Just creeping you out. Trying to creep you out. And it's crazy to me, this is a full moon movie. Which I didn't even know full moon was around in the 70s. Which I don't know if it was. I don't know if this was just picked up by full moon. But doesn't feel like a full moon movie. And it's just a really unique thing where he basically kills people by pouring this like plaster on their face, suffocating them. Slow death. Kind of a creepy idea. And the twist of the movie, spoiler alert, I guess, you find out that Chuck Connors is the brother. He's been crazy this entire time. And the characters are trying to stop him. And I think the movie is very well done. This review is kind of short. It's really short. I think overall, though, it's a very well-made movie. There are times where I think the problems kind of show. It's an hour and 30 minutes, but it slows down a lot in the middle. There's a middle portion of the movie where it slows way down. And I thought it got really slow. And honestly, it didn't pick up at the end either. So it was just kind of like a really big pacing issue. I do think that's the movie's biggest flaw, as well as the acting and the characters. I do think that's the flaws. Positives, though, I love the look of the killer. I love the atmosphere. I love the direction. I love the eerie music. I love the way this film is shot. And for it being a 70s movie, low budget, it's impressive stuff here. I think this is a fairly well-made movie for what it is. And the fact that this movie gets above a 6 on IMDb, is a lot of these 70s and 80s low-budget slasher horror films typically are below a 6, but this is pretty cool how it got a 6. I can understand how people would recommend it, because I didn't even know anything about this movie. It's not really heard of. It's not really talked about, which is unfortunate. I do think it deserves to be watched. I'd give it a watch again. I'd check it out again for sure. Rewatch. Yeah, I think it's a very well-made movie, though. It's got some problems. The pacing and the acting, the characters, some of the writing, I think, is some of the big issues there. Keeps it from, to me, a solid 4. But I think I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And I think that's pretty fair, 3.5 out of 5. Not terrible. I wouldn't say it's one of my like all-time favorites. I did think it had issues, but I do think it's an impressive movie that was surprising. And that's the one thing I got from it too, was like, not only did it have some cool ideas, it had some surprising ideas. It had some creepy moments. It had some moments that I didn't expect. It had a plot that I didn't expect. And there is some moments where the usage of the mannequins, it's all practical effects. It's creepy at times. It's kind of eerie. But yeah, overall 3.5 out of 5. I think it's got some good scares, some cool creepy factor. And I think overall it is a pretty well-made movie. This is a very short review, but I don't really have much else to say about it. I recommend it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's pretty decent. 3.5 out of 5 from me. It's got some pretty cool, creepy, chilling moments. And I definitely think it's one of the more interesting slasher films out there. I really enjoyed the concept. I really enjoyed the look of the killer. And I really do think this is a movie that I do think needs a remake. Because you remake this movie, you make it rated R, you put some more blood in it, you put some more special effects, you give it a bit more money, you give it a better pacing, you give it some more better characters and dialogue, and I think it can be an all-time best. That being said, I still do think it's a great movie. I still do think it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty above average slasher, and I did enjoy it quite a bit. Quite a bit. Quiet bit. I don't know why I want to say quiet, but quite a bit. Thank you to Steve and John for recommending the movie. And if you guys have seen the movie, comment down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this film. I enjoyed it. It's pretty good. And yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this review. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on Tourist Trap. Have a good night. Take care. The Explorer of Horror is out. We'll see you guys in the next review. Bye.